So there are a lot of AI-powered contract reviewing tools nowadays, and there are typically two kinds of approaches adopted among these tools. One is a kind of open-ended approach where you just ask a chatbot questions on your document, or you ask it to perform a general review, maybe ask any suggestions on what you might have missed, and a more closed approach where you first upfront define a set of rules, a playbook that the AI needs to know, and then ask it to run that playbook, run that set of requirements, rules on the document. The open-end approach is easier because it doesn't require any setup or very limited setup. The closed approach provides better quality of reviews. With ClauseBase, we're definitely more in the camp of the closed reviews, and we actually made a whole video about how we initially built an open-ended system, and we just found that it wasn't good enough, to be honest. The link to that video is in the description, but we also find that a lot of teams don't really have the resources, the know-how, the drive, the time to create these playbooks. And so instead, what these teams will want to do is to take a counterparty's document and just substantively compare it against their own version of that type of document. That's what we're facilitating with Deep Compare. So imagine we have this mutual non-disclosure agreement submitted to us by a counterparty, and we want to compare it against our own standard mutual NDA. What we'll do is we'll upload our own standard NDA. And we'll run the compare. And so what the AI is going to do is it's going to start matching the clauses from this document on the left-hand side against the clauses in the document that we just uploaded on the right-hand side. And so with that done, we can start going through this clause-by-clause analysis a little bit more. You can see that the AI is smart enough to match clauses together, even if they don't have the same title, right? Even if they are substantively talking about the same thing. The same thing applies to maybe clauses that address a specific topic across multiple parts of a document, whereas another document may address it in a single clause. The AI does know how to match these elements together. And so a first type of comparison that we could do here for this purpose and scope clause is, well, actually they are pretty similar to one another, so we could just ask for a basic text comparison. And so what the AI does here is it just gives us a track changes style overview of how these two relate, very granular overview of what some elements from our own standard document are compared to what are some elements from the counterparty's document are. But that's not going to work for every clause because some clauses are just too dissimilar, right? If we try the same exercise for this confidential information clause, you can see here, I mean, this is useless. There's just too much different text. There's a few words maybe that are similar, but we can't do anything with this. So instead, we'll turn to the substantive analysis of the AI. Like here, you can see that the colored labels are essentially the AI saying, okay, we've got a match on this topic, right? So the definition of confidential information is provided. We can then still choose whether we would like, our definition or their definition. But some elements are not provided in one clause, whereas they are provided in another clause. For example, right, that's what these black and gray labels are all about. For example, in our very lengthy confidential information clause, we've got these exclusion criteria. So that's this part right here, right? So the confidential information shall not include information that, etc., etc., etc. We could say, conceivably, that we like the counterparty's clause. It's fine. We don't want to change necessarily anything to it, but we do want to have our exclusion criteria applied there. And so what we do is we just highlight that label to indicate to the AI, okay, like we want this element. And you can see that in the standard document, they are already applied because the AI kind of assumes that you do want to, use the original document's material first and foremost. But you could turn that off if you want. But we want to say, okay, you know what? Let's merge these clauses, but let's take this element from our own standard document and insert it into the merged clause. And if we then give the AI a little bit of time to prepare that material, then this is what ultimately comes up, and we can then insert that into the document with the necessary changes applied. So you can see here, it just takes this element from our document and inserts it into the counterparty's document. And you can basically run an entire clause-by-clause comparison across an entire document that way. Now, how does this work? and that's important because there are some limitations that we do need to emphasize. What we have to do is we have to give the AI short summaries of the clauses in one document and short summaries of the clauses in another document. So there may be some nuance lost there, right? Because we have to take these shortcuts in order to deal with the limitations that generative AI and LLMs currently still have. So there may be some nuance lost there, but also do remember that these summaries are made by AI, and so they're not made by a senior lawyer with commercial and legal acumen to really identify the important elements from these clauses. Still, though, our own tests have indicated that this is a very easy way to get some substantive comparisons done and to speed up that reviewing process, even if you don't have like a fully developed playbook in place already.